Remember Retro Bowl? Well, I do. It was the game that everyone enjoyed playing in my PE class during my junior year of high school, instead of playing football in real life. It's a very simple game that allows you to lead an NFL franchise to victory and build an elite team. You're the head coach, and your goal is to leave a legacy. It's a simple enough game that's perfect for distracting you while in class, but not a game you'd come rushing to in your free time. I'll have you know I've spent way too much time playing this game in class. So recently I saw this on the App Store, and I was like, oh, that looks like Retro Bowl, but different. That's because it is. So apparently there's this new NFL Retro Bowl 25, so I figured, you know what? Let's compare this NFL Retro Bowl 25 with the OG Retro Bowl. I figured there had to have been some cool new stuff in this, considering I had to get Apple Arcade just to play it. Luckily, I got a month for free. I'll probably forget about it and end up paying next month, but anyway, I quickly realized that this game is literally just the same as the classic Retro Bowl, except for here they're allowed to use the actual team names instead of just their cities. And I guess I get to return kickoffs, watch replays, and simulate games, but I'm pretty sure you can buy those features and a whole lot more for the classic Retro Bowl. Oh, and I guess I get to play with superstars from the actual teams in real life. Although, I will say as a Bears fan, they made some interesting choices as to who to include on the team. For one, Travis Homer was my running back. That's a strange choice. Anyway, after realizing this game is essentially no different from the original, I came to a much tougher realization. On extreme difficulty, this game is impossible. Any pass you throw that is remotely close to a defender is instantly an interception, and oftentimes a pick six. And worst of all, your opponent almost always scores every drive. So I changed my goal for this video. I need to win a Super Bowl on this insanely hard difficulty on this clone of a game, I guess. So here I was, starting my new career. My name was Arden Funk, and I was going to coach the Chicago Bears to a Super Bowl. But there were a few problems. My team sucked, my coordinator sucked, and worst of all, I was trashed. I couldn't for the life of me win a game on this difficulty. At first I thought I could just continue upgrading my players and eventually my team would be competent. Then I realized that when I get destroyed every game, there's not a lot of XP to show for it. So it's going to be a little hard to upgrade players when I'm losing games like this. It was so devastating that I felt like it wasn't even worth trying. So I switched up my plan a bit. I was going to just sim through the first season and rely on the draft to get me much better players, and hopefully a more fair shot. So I simulated every game until the end of the season. When I got there, I was 0-17. We couldn't win a single game. Hey, well at least I set the bar pretty low to improve in my second season, right? How cool would that be? Going from 0-17 to a Super Bowl win? Now that is a story. But it had to begin with a good draft. And yeah, the draft went pretty well. My team was a lot better. I picked up this Valus Forbes guy as my new running back and just tried to improve my team where I could. Now, all I had to do was win some games, make the playoffs, and what do you know? In week 1, I managed to win a grueling game against the Jets. I was only able to do so by succeeding in making the 2-point conversion and winning by 1 point. So I was feeling pretty good, but not great. Winning that game took everything, and still, I had to get kinda lucky. But hopefully I could carry this momentum into the rest of the season. Well, I pulled the old Chicago and got destroyed by Green Bay immediately after the fact. Oh, well there's always next time. I lost again, and again, and again, and again. Oh hey, I won 2 games. Then I lost again, and again, and again. Yeah, this season didn't go a whole lot better. I ended up 4-13. But hey, all I gotta do is have another good draft. My team will be in peak form then, and I'll do even better, right? No. 3 of my good players had their contracts up, and I didn't have the salary cap space to keep them all, and also be able to draft someone good. So I ended up doing something that hurt my soul as a Bears fan. I cut DJ Moore. Looking back, not sure that was the best decision. I was probably putting too much faith in Caleb Williams and Odunze, but whatever. And since I still had hardly any cap space, I drafted one tight end named Stephen Spencer. Then, after the draft, it set in. My team had not gotten better. This was actually worse. This was an important moment for me though, because it finally sank in that if I was going to actually succeed in my goal, I would have to do something I hadn't thought I would need to. I needed to actually get good at this game. That's right, no more relying on drafting or upgrading players to pull me through. I just needed to learn how to play well. So I tried, and failed for the first 3 games. But I got better and started to actually win a couple games. Every game was this tough, frustrating battle that either ended in heartbreak or a narrow victory. By the end of the season, I had just missed the playoffs being 8-9, but I had learned a lot. Here's what I discovered. I need to score when I have the ball. I can't be throwing interceptions. My game plan needs to be centered around not letting the other team get the ball, because when they have it, they score nearly every drive. This means I need to be proficient in my time management and in doing things like scoring before the half to gain an edge. Running down the clock was something I tried to do a lot, although it wasn't too hard because it wasn't like I was getting super breakaway plays or anything. I oftentimes needed all 4 downs just to get the first. Plus, on top of everything, I didn't have a kicker. This meant I was going for 2 every drive, which was actually a good thing because that extra point was vital in a lot of games, and 2-point conversions are usually pretty easy in this game anyway. I also only threw the safest routes because I learned anytime the ball is under any contention, it's usually picked off. So with all those strategies implemented, I managed to have a pretty okay season, all things considered. But now I found myself 3 seasons in and heading into my 4th. I'd gotten much better and learned how to actually win. But now I was determined to put it all to use. And of course, as it so often goes in life, another problem arises. I had 6 guys about to go into free agency, and I basically had to make the incredibly tough decision to cut Caleb Williams in order to keep Forbes and my good defenders who I believed were essential to completing this challenge. So then I had to draft this guy, Rontez Roche or whatever, as my new quarterback. He had very high accuracy and stamina, but that was literally it. I was going to have to use him, and I was going to have to make it work. I also had lost Cole Kmet and Odunze. It didn't even feel like the Bears anymore. But oh well, this was going to be the season. I had done it. Somehow, I made the playoffs. Now, I just had to take every game slow and carefully. I wasn't going to come this far just to mess it all up, and so I did. I focused harder on this than I had during any school assignment in high school, and it had brought me here to the Super Bowl, where I was to face the Las Vegas Raiders. Didn't expect to see them here. The game began, and they immediately scored. So I charged down the field, putting together a pretty productive drive. Before I knew it, Velus Forbes was in the end zone. Sadly, we did not make the 2-point conversion, but the Raiders were unable to score their next drive. So I had a chance to take the lead, and with hardly any time left in the half, we scored again, this time getting the 2 points. We also got the ball at half, meaning I could potentially increase my lead. That was exactly what I was able to do. But the Raiders came out swinging on the next drive, refusing to fall out of this game. So now I had the ball, and if I scored, I knew it would be almost impossible for Vegas to come back. And well, what do you know? Velus Forbes is my man. Looked like I made a pretty good decision keeping him. And just like that, we were the Super Bowl champs. So, I guess if there's anything to take away from this video, it's just get the regular Retro Bowl for free. And if you want a true challenge, play on extreme difficulty. I'm not gonna lie, this was actually really hard and took me a long time to do. Because by this last season, I was playing every game, just struggling to get a win. But it was rewarding in the end. So if you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe to the Collection Room for more cool stuff like this. We're just going to make some random cool videos every once in a while. Sometimes it'll be me doing some stuff. Sometimes it'll be Sky. Sometimes it'll be us both. So, yeah. Stick around.